Welcome to Sense Cell. We are your host Rishabh and Kirtana. In today's episode, we are going to explore how sensory marketing techniques can influence customer perception and the expectations of physical store experiences. So, with the rise of virtual try-on tools, 3D product visualization, and other immersive digital experiences, retailers have new opportunities to connect with customers online. But these innovations also raise the bar for in real life stores, physical store settings, right? So we'll also look at how these leading digital first brands use the sensory marketing techniques in their virtual stores and to shape the positive perception that carry over into the physical retail as well. And we'll discuss best practices for these digital brands to enable seamless transition when they open their first brick-and-mortar location, finally transitioning from digital to a physical setting.
Sensory marketing aims to create positive perceptions of a brand by appealing to the five senses. Retailers have long used sensory cues in physical stores like lighting, music, and scents. Now, in virtual stores, sensory details can be just as impactful. For example, Lenskart uses high-resolution photography and 3D models to showcase products online. This visual clarity allows customers to closely inspect frames and get a realistic sense of shapes, colors, and textures. Lenskart goes further using VR and AR to let users view clothing on realistically rendered avatars. The ultra-high fidelity visuals give a taste of tactile product experiences. Other brands also add sound effects like fabric swishes or use product descriptions with sensory words to spark customers' auditory and haptic imagination.
So, Keithan, expanding on that point, one particular example that I can recall of, so I'm a frequent user of Nike app, right? And if you look at Nike app and if you visit their physical store, you will see they are very much in sync, right? Even those, I'm associating Nike with those yellow or those pink fluorescent neon colors, right? So anywhere I see the combo of that, I associate automatically it with Nike or the swoosh sound that is very famous of Nike, right? So these sensory cues make the online experience feel more tangible and premium, I believe, and they shape customer expectation about the quality perception they'll have in physical stores, right? And additionally, if I talk about, let's say it's a little different, it's a little off track from our topic, but let's talk about Zomato. That Zomato sound, right? That order delivery, as soon as you place your order, there's a particular sound that comes, right? Now you're associating that sound with Zomato. So basically, Zomato is subliminally present in your background. It tries to make a link between food and Zomato, so you'll definitely remember that, right? So it's again taking advantage of your sensory, which is you're maybe subconsciously listening to that sound, but you're going to have a strong association with it, right? Yeah, so expanding on that point, so let's discuss what's the influence on physical store perception. So research shows that sensory marketing makes brand more memorable and attractive to the customers. So the sensory details in a virtual store can positively skew perceptions of the physical retail store as well. And I think vice versa must be true as well. So basically, if a product looks ultra high resolution online, customers will anticipate seeing that level of quality and attention to detail in real stores as well. So for example, some apps have this rustling sound of clothes while they are shopping virtually. So shoppers expect tactile textures in person as well, right? So this bleed over effect means sensory marketing in virtual stores can elevate customer perception of physical stores even before even they visit. And I think for the opposite case as well, if you've had a certain pleasant experience in a physical setting, you expect a replication of that in the virtual store as well, right? For example, I think the basic I can recall of is the placement of mannequins that I've heard, right? They are in an open area. You can easily access them and feel the cloth. That is another cue they want to give in.
To add on to that, H&M, which is a physical first brand, has now recently started making its online presence. So when you look at the stores, they're extremely spacious and the overall space utilization is very, very low in comparison to other brands. And the same thing is being replicated on their app and website as well. They have huge product images and very, very minimal descriptions. And when you even look at the entire interface, it's just very breezy, like it's not cluttered at all. For digital first brands like Lenskart, a beauty brand Nykaa, launching physical stores marks a major omni-channel milestone, but it also poses challenges to meet customer expectations shaped by curated virtual experiences. The key is to replicate signature sensory marketing elements online into in-store designs. For example, Nike's Instagram famous pink packaging and displays are mirrored in their stores. Soft lighting, feminine touches, and millennial pink hues create an immersive brand experiences. Digitally native brands should also leverage data on what resonates most with online consumers. For example, if certain visual or product textures get high engagement, focus them on bringing those sensory cues into real life in stores experiences.
Also, I think the training in store to the staff to provide the same high touch personalized service to the customers they are accustomed to on online helps unify the brand experience across channels, right? So basically this sensory marketing creates a positive customer perception online that carry expectations for physical retail as well, right? So one point I want to expand on the example you mentioned, Kirtana, regarding Nika, right? So Nika's transition from online setting to virtual setting has been a very smooth one. So why it has been very smooth? If you look at their stores, they're categorized as you would see on the app. So on the app you go, you scroll the categories and you see products under those categories. There's a certain flow defined there. Similarly, in the store, if you go, there's a certain flow of the categories across the store. So basically that physical store is a natural extension of the online presence or the online experience you have been having, right? So it's very seamless, it's very smooth for the customer, and it's doing very good. Now on the contrary, if I talk about Sugar, let's say, right? So Sugar transitioned into the physical setting via kiosks, right? They placed a standalone kiosk in these large aggregators like Shoppers Stop, etc. And those kiosks can be anywhere. Definitely they are in the beauty section, but they can be next to a luxury brand, they can be next to a a cheaper brand, whatever. But point being, they have limited store space. They have limited space on their kiosk, and they're not able to provide that seamless transition from the app to the store. So if you look at their website and you look at their the physical kiosk, there's a drastic difference, right? And because they have limitation of space, so they just need to put on all the top selling products in just one section. So also talking about the omni-channel part of strategy that that these brands are taking, right? So I have seen some users report that omni-channel presence actually deter them and annoy them after a certain limit. Hence, optimizing this presence in the omni-channel way is needs to be taken care of by brands, because it can definitely easily backfire for them as well. So brands want to improve themselves, right? But how do they go about it, right? So there was a study conducted in Turkey, especially on clothing brands, right? So people asked these potential customers, basically they were entering a particular brand, right, clothing brand, and they asked them what are the important things they look in a store while buying it, right? For example, is the lighting important? Is the music important? Is the access to clothes or tactile touches important, etc. So basically when they asked it, they got that a combination of three is important, that is audio cues, visual cues, and tactile cues, right? So a combination of that is important. That's what the people claimed before they entered the store. But after they enter the store and these people observe their behavior, they found out it's primarily just tactile for clothing. Maybe it can be depending on the brand they're entering. It might not be a luxurious brand. It was a normal range brand, right? But again, so what people say and what they actually behave, that is different. That is another issue for these brands, right? So how do they actually identify what step they need to take, what cues will work for them? It's very pretty and very complicated task for them right now.
That wraps up our look on how sensory marketing in virtual stores can influence physical store perceptions and support omni-channel expansions. As digital innovations reshape retail, brands have more ways to digitally connect with their customers. But sensory marketing remains critical for forming positive and memorable brand impressions across online and offline touchpoints. And Rishabh, like you mentioned, how you said that user preferences vary based on the brands, whether it's luxury or fast fashion. I think our next episode will be covering that with an industry expert. So I'm super excited for that. And with this, we come to the end of our podcast. So I guess we'll be seeing all of you in the next episode as well. Thank you for joining in.